What's happening, man?
Coach Spurrier, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Indeed. All right. If anybody has a question for Coach Spurrier, we will get them rolling.
All right, no questions. Good to go?
We'll start with David Murray. All right, we'll come back to David. We'll go to Ben Portnoy first.
Coach, I know we've talked about Javonte Payton a lot in camp and had a big game, and obviously your guys on the outside as well. But as a receiver group, I mean, what did you kind of diagnose from your guys and, seeing good 3 guys go over 100 yards as well?
Yeah, running back Kylan played really well too. I thought we caught the ball well. Cyrus had that one easy drop kind of right in front of him. Fortunately, it was on second down. But other than that, the amount of balls we threw and caught I thought was pretty good, which was impressive. So we still got some work to do, but for an opening day at LSU, that was a good day for the QB especially and the wide receivers.
David, you got us?
I think I hit the mute button right this time.
There we go.
All right, Coach, besides the obviously the catching and the mitigating yards after the catch, what do you think your receivers did in the full aspects of the air raid as far as blocking downfield, making their assignments, doing all those things that maybe we don't watch?
I tell you what, the majority of things that I give them credit for is what you saw. So running and catching the ball, getting open. I mean, there were some efforts to separate from some guys that were kind of holding on to us that we had to separate from them. But it was to get open. You got to get open to catch the ball, and I thought our guys did pretty well on that. That last touchdown that Cyrus caught down the boundary was, and again, I asked him after the game. I said, "How many times have you caught that exact play in practice?" Probably 300 times. So it was fun to watch him kind of reap the benefits of just the 10,000 balls that they're forced to catch every day and every week out there. So it was a fun day for those guys and a lot of smiles on a lot of receivers' faces.
We'll go to Ben Portnoy.
Coach, just quickly, I mean, I think I was looking at the numbers, and y'all had close to like 380, 390 yak yards. I mean, is that something that's built into this offense? I mean, are you expecting to get yards after the catch, or are you trying to get over the top?
No, you hope so. You hope so. Majority of the years, this has been really successful. Again, if you look back at the numbers for Coach Leach, our leading receiver most years are running back. And the amount of balls he catches kind of in the flat or swinging to the field or just underneath. And the reason that we keep doing that is because those guys kind of make people miss. I think it was Max Borghi or James Williams up at Washington State led the nation in yards after catch a year or two ago. So yeah, this offense specifically, we got to find people and get open, but there's a big emphasis on throwing completions. And if we throw completions, we feel like we can knife forward and make some yards and keep the offense moving. But yeah, there's a big emphasis on making sure we're completing the ball and giving guys a chance to get upfield.
And then just real quickly, it seemed like y'all, it took at least a couple of plays, a couple of drives to get at least a shot over the top. Was that by design, or was it just a matter of getting a little separation, or what did you kind of see?
That's just kind of how it plays out. People say it takes a couple series to get rolling. Just a couple series, they kind of stoned us pretty good. And then we found ourselves in a position where we had the right play called at the right time and just had some good things that we hit. But no, we kind of take what the defense gives us and how it sets up. And as it went on, we had some opportunities to get it in the air and hit some guys down the field, which was good to see.
Brian Haydad.
Coach, this past week, Javonte 6 catches, Austin Williams had 7, Osiris had 7. Do you think that's maybe how it's going to be week to week, or do you see scenarios where there's different guys every week who have 5, 6 catches? And
Yeah.
kind of like Austin only has 1 or 2.
Yeah, no, there'll be different guys all the time. And especially for me, because I rotate my guys pretty much by series. I had 4 guys play throughout the game. They just rotated. And when Cyrus was in there, the ball happened to come to him. Very easily, it could have been for Tyrell on some of those. So, yeah, week to week, play to play, it's, we don't exactly tag guys specifically for this play and tag guys specifically for 7 receptions and this guy needs to get 5. One thing we do, we try to tag by position. So we would like the Z position to catch 14 balls. We'd like the H position to catch 12 balls. We try to even it up by position, not necessarily by player. And hopefully if you've got enough good players, it balances out pretty good.
We'll go go to Joel Coleman.
Talk about different guys. I was going to ask you about a couple in particular. Malik Keith did not in the stat column. I don't guess a whole lot for last week and things, but just kind of your evaluation of what you saw out of him this past week. And Cam Gardner did show up with a couple of big catches and a guy that hadn't played just a humongous role before. But just your thoughts on what he's been able to do so far.
Yeah, Cam's done a good job. He has. I've been impressed with him. That 1 3rd and 20 catch he had was kind of remarkable. When KJ threw it, I was like, where did he just throw that ball? I threw it right in the middle of 4 guys, and Cam jumped out of there and came out with it. Malik just didn't have many opportunities. I think he had 1 catch for 1 yard, and it just didn't seem to have as many opportunities for him. This week just didn't set up as well for him. But we need to find a way to get X the ball more. Malik certainly needs to find a way we got to get him involved in the game. He's a talented guy that can make things happen, and we got to find a way to let him use the talents he has.
We will go back to David Murray.
Coach, what is the confidence level between these receivers and KJ? It just we didn't get to watch them in fall camp or any of that, but they just seem so comfortable throwing and catching to each other at this very early stage for all of them.
You know what? It was a pretty impressive day. For KJ to play as well as he played and throw for as many yards as he threw for was, I don't know how many people could have predicted that. But as a receiver, we don't worry too much about who's throwing. I tell you what, though, KJ threw some streaks that were as good as I've ever seen. I think he threw 6 streaks, and we should have caught. We had 1 drop on 1, but the other 3 or 4 were thrown as well as you can throw them. So he did make some excellent throws to our guys. And obviously, every time you run a route, you feel pretty good about that ball being in a good place for you. But again, we run and throw all day long, and they're getting used to doing that. And it was a fun game to watch. But yeah, it was a good day considering we have not had a spring, and there's still a lot of mistakes out there, and there's some communication, and there's some things we got to keep polishing up. But for opening day, I thought that was a pretty impressive day by KJ.
We'll go to Tyler Horka.
Yeah, Steve, you mentioned earlier how awesome it was to see your guys kind of reap the rewards of everything they do in practice. I'm curious, after the game, could you tell that they were pretty pumped up about it, and what were their emotions? Because you look at Osiris's stat line and Javonte's stat line, they didn't come close to anything like that all year last year, and they do it in the first game this year. So kind of what was just the general mood of your guys after that game?
Well, it was obviously to go to LSU and win is special. I've told people it's a little easier, more fun to play down there in front of 20,000 than 100,000. But there's also a lot of stress on who we are and how Leach coaches that. That was a fun game. It was a good win. But, I mean, if we're going to try to be the best team we can be, we got to get ready for Arkansas. I mean, that was a good win. Congratulations. But that's kind of the standard we have around here. We're going to throw it. When we throw it, we expect you to catch it. And we expect to have 2 or 3 guys over 100 yards all the time. And when we don't, that's been a bad day. So it's been fun kind of creating that standard with guys that aren't used to it. And I did. I asked Cyrus, when was the last time you had 7 catches for 183 yards? And I don't think he's ever done it before. So it was a fun day for him. But he's got to keep working hard to continue that success.
We probably have time for 2 more. We'll go to Ben Portnoy.
Coach, it seemed like they were in press coverage a lot. You guys were able to get off the line pretty good after a little bit. I mean, was that something you guys expected from them and were able to exploit, or was it just kind of what they were giving you?
We knew they were going to play kind of a press on the outside. That's what Bo Pelini's always done. They probably blitzed a little bit more than we thought, played a little bit more true cover 1 with just 1 guy down the middle than we thought they might play. We hit some plays on the outside, but we had a lot of plays that covered us too. But again, when you throw the ball 60 times a game, there's going to be 10 or 15 plays that kind of look open. You throw it 20 times a game, you're going to have 3 plays that look open and 10 that look covered. So we did. We put the ball in the air a lot, and we put it in the air to the right guy at the right time, which made it a good day for us.
And we will kick the last question to Brian Haydad.
Coach, is there a moment in a game like Saturday's where you and the other offensive staff just sort of look at each other and have that moment where, hey, we're getting whatever we want here, they can't slow us down?
Occasionally. It didn't happen really last week until that last touchdown to Cyrus that put us up by 10. But, you know, we've had so many games. We had the 2 years I was at Washington State, the two offenses we had were really good. But, you know, the game's never over. So, you know, even as an offense, you have to find a way to balance it out that we win the game. You know, we got to try to win the game. Our ultimate purpose isn't to go up and down the field all the time. We had a couple games we had to slow down. But, yeah, that's rare. Again, at the end of the day, I thought we threw for about 400 yards, which is a lot. But when they said 623, that's a remarkable number. I didn't expect that, even after the game was over. So, no, even as a staff, you kind of grind it out all the way throughout the game, unless you're up by 30, and then you kind of start patting each other on, you know, congratulating people. But every game's a grind, and you know we got a tough road ahead of us. We know that, and yeah, we gotta keep working hard and execute at a high level if we're going to finish out this year like we hope to.
Great. Thanks, Coach Spurrier. Have
Yes,
a great
sir.
night.